day. Welcome to FKU Africa Podcast. How can an African be a foreigner in an African country? To gain mentality, we need to let go of the influence of the West.
Alright. Welcome to FKU Africa Podcast. This is your host Maneza F8 coming to you here in South Africa, man. In Cape Town, beautiful city, beautiful weather today. It's going to be a beautiful topic. I know it's gonna dig deep into some other people's heart, but it's important for us to talk about these things. It's important. So before we get into it, I just want to thank you all for getting into the last episode. I know it's been coming a very slow because of I forgot to actually put it on public. So only the people that only manage to get into it are the people that are subscribers. So the people who were not subscribers, they couldn't get into it, like on the search list, like on the feeds on YouTube. So, but I managed to someone pointed that out, so I managed to fix it. But that is cool now. I hope you did subscribe. If you have not, please subscribe to the podcast and also click that button so that you can get that notification when the new episode comes out. So an announcement that we want to make, the podcast will be coming to you now in 2 days for the beginning of September, the first week of September. We will start bringing you the podcast 2 days a week, not only on Saturdays. We will pick a day during the week also so that you can consume as much as possible. We see the numbers are growing. We thank you. So going forward, we want the ultimate goal is to get the podcast every day. But that is coming. But for now, we'll have it 2 days, from 1 day a week on Saturday. Now it's gonna be 2 days. So without wasting any time, the topic of today is 5 things Africans are bad at, including me as an African. 5 things that we are really bad at. Those things are the part of the things that are holding us back from flourishing, from being successful in so many fields, so many different aspects of life, growing spiritually, finances, businesses, being generational wealth. Those are the things that are holding us back from reaching those potential, the things that we are really bad at. So without wasting any time, let's get to the first one. The first one is African identity. It's very important. African identity. We have lost our own identity. That is why we are so confused. We end up chasing things that don't really matter to us. We end up trying to chase goals that are really not goals for us. Things that doesn't even concern us. I'm talking about girls are trying so hard to be white, trying so hard to have those blonde waves in their head, bleaching out their skins. That applies also to men. There are men that bleaching out their skins, are trying by all means to look white, thinking that they'll be acceptable in a white community. If you are not being acceptable, be bleaching yourself white, but yet you are still black, won't get you acceptable. Those things that they just mean that you're not comfortable being who you are. You need to be comfortable being an African, being black. We are having the problem of identity crisis among black people. We're chasing the wrong goals because we don't know who we are. if we understand who we are, we might not even chase the degrees, because those are not the part of who we are. It's been proven time and time again that degrees, they don't guarantee anything. If you can follow the African identity, African studies, you understand what is important, what will make you a generational wealth. There are many people who are wealthy as Africans without any kind of education. There are many African ways that we have neglected. There are so many things that we did neglect as white people. I'm talking about traditions, simple traditions, initiations, welcoming of a newborn into a home. We don't do those things anymore, and we wonder why there are so many bad lucks among us as Africans, because we forgot and we neglect our traditions and customs. Those are the things that we need to get back at, our identity. We need to find our own identity as Africans. We cannot go anywhere without going back to who we are collectively. Then we will identify all the other problems. If we know who we are, there will be no problems that we cannot face and defeat. African spirituality. Finding someone who is on the street washing the bad luck out of themselves, you will say those people, or that person is using mocho, is using muti, or is bewitching other people. But no, that person is cleansing himself. Those are the things that we need to do to connect to our own spirituality. Fasting as Africans, eating a good food, African food, avoiding going to bed with a woman before a big things like going to the interviews. Must avoid by all means being in bed with a woman. Those were the things that our old fathers, our forefathers were telling us. It's gonna bring you bad luck. You cannot be dealing with a kid in the initiation school in the mountain while you are still dealing with your wife in bed in the house. You need to fast from that. Get away from that. Those are the things that we neglected as Africans. Now we wonder why there's so many bad luck and things are not happening for us. And now we're wondering. Why are we wondering? How are things gonna happen if we're not careful? And the second thing is self-love. It goes back to what I was talking about, weaves and all these things, and trying so hard to please other people. The self-love is the thing that we are very bad at as Africans. Now we have things like xenophobia, Afrophobia, civil wars, coups, and all these things. It's happening now in Mali. The president is being kicked out of his office by soldiers, and they nominated themselves as the current president because of what? The self-love. If that president loved himself enough, he would have been gone a long time, because there were many challenges. There were many indications that people, they don't want him, but he was clinging on to power because he doesn't love himself. He doesn't love himself anymore, and his people doesn't love his people. To say, okay, if you don't want me, go out, select whoever you want to select, and you see change. We don't love ourselves anymore, and we not fighting for ourselves as Africans. We cannot fight for ourselves. What we do, everything that we having something, some problems, we don't fight for our own. You either fight for a white person, or fight for a Chinese, or fight for an Indian. But You will look down on your white brother or on your white sister, while you see that in this situation he was right or he was wrong. For me, it's not about what you do when you have money. It's what you do when you have or when you have not. Most of us are in a position where we can help other Africans, where we can show some way or show guidance into some situations, but we are not doing it because we lack self-love. If you don't love another African, you hit him up in the streets and call it xenophobia, which means you don't love yourself. You lack self-love. At the point 3, the third thing that Africans are bad at is governing countries. It's been proven time and time again that Africans cannot govern themselves. They cannot govern. They run the economy down the drain in all the countries. They are enriching, and they are enriching their families, their friends, and everyone who's around them in the West, forgetting about the people. The first rule of governing is to look out for the people, not look out for your stomach and your family. Look out for the people and make sure that the state resources are being delivered fairly. Make sure that the state resources and infrastructure to the people is being delivered. Simple things that they cannot do, our African leaders. We've seen things happening in most countries. We've seen things happening in Zimbabwe. We've seen things happening in Zambia, where China is doing as they wish. We've seen things happening in Nigeria. We've seen things happening in Ghana. We've seen things happening now in Mali. We've seen things happening in South Africa. We're still mourning the deaths of many people in Marikana that died 8 years ago for no reason, because the government is selling out the country to the Europeans. People are fighting to get a better wages. The government chose to slaughter the people. We cannot govern ourselves. It's been proven. We are very bad as Africans. Very bad in making sure that we govern the country smooth. The only person that was on the right path as an African in governing the country was Thomas Sankara. Thomas Sankara was the only one. Muammar Gaddafi, there are some questions to his governance, but you could say that he did manage to govern the country without the help of the West. But it means that their people managed to kill him, but so in a way that he was not the best, because he was killed by his own people, and there's so many anger towards him in his country and all that. But Thomas Sankara was an example of how African leaders should lead. So this is what we're lacking. This is what we still need to work on as Africans. We need to work on governing. There is a quote by a white person, I think it's Putin or something, Vladimir Putin, that black people are like monkeys. They cannot govern themselves. They need the help from the West, from Europe, or from white men to govern. I'm just paraphrasing. It's not the same as it is there where I saw them. I saw it many times, but I'm just it is like that. People, it's been proven, they can't govern themselves. They can't. We need a new strategy. We need the youth to start going into the government, to govern the right way. We need a combined Africa, so that we will look out for all this corruption and stuff will be cancelled if Africa is united. No one man can eat his money with his family of the whole Africa. That will never happen. The federal government will be managed. The fourth one is the money handling. I've mentioned that a number of times. We cannot handle money as Africans. We cannot. As soon as we get money, we buy expensive clothes. As soon as we get money, we surrounded ourselves by friends and drink the money to the end. And we buy useless things. As soon as we have money, we become monsters. The same advice you gave someone when we were broke, that this is how you should spend the money. When you get money, you forgot all that. You eat like money like a dust. You eat money like it was never there, like it's nothing. Look at our people in government, comrades, cadres, leaders. They are dashing money, they are eating money like it's nothing. They cannot provide services to the people, all they do is to eat it. It's been proven all over Africa, African leaders. They are very hungry for money, but they cannot handle it. It makes them dizzy. As soon as they see numbers, they will do anything. Some, Ace Makashula or these other people, they even were bought by a dairy meat here in Busasa. Busasa is still going on in the Zondo Commission. They were bought by meat for tenders. They were bought milk, delivering milk every day or every week in their houses. Then they will dish out the tenders to these guys, and then they will get a cut also. Mismanaging of funds is all over, and what we are doing about it, it's nothing. These are the real things that you need to know that are taking us back. These are the things that are pulling us back, that we will never meet the standard of China, that we will never meet the standard of Indians, that we will never meet the standard of Europeans. We will never meet the standards of Americans if we still do things this way. We will never. If we still continue handling money like this, we will never build a generational wealth. We will never build a wealth that will enable our grandchildren to live as they wish. If we continue like this, we'll never build anything of sense. So the last one but not least is the equality. We are very bad at equality. Why? Why do you want the equality from a white man? Why? We will never be equal to them. We got our own life, got our own situations. Why do you want to be equal to them? Why are we begging to be equal to white people? We will never be white people. We must create our own structures. We must create our own kind of living. We must go back to our own traditions. Then they will want to be equal to us. Why do we want to be equal to the white people? You're so crying. No, equality. Equality for what? What is equality? Do you want to be the same? What? The jobs, the money? Why don't you take the money from them if you think that the money belongs to you? The government had the right to chase them away, but they didn't. The government had the right to make them pay all the money back to the states and then divide the money to us, deliver the money to us, but they didn't. It's our fault. It's not the white people's fault. It's our fault that we cannot govern ourselves. It's our fault that we don't have our own identity. Now we want to be them. Now we want to be equal to them. Why? You must love yourself enough to be comfortable in your own skin. You must be comfortable in your own skin. Don't chase being equal to other people. And these people that you want to be equal to are only white people. Chinese have the serious money also, but you never want to say no equality with Chinese people. You are chasing after white people. Why? Why are you so obsessed with white people? Leave white people alone. Create your own generational wealth. Make your own plans, make your own strategies, and make your own structure. And build your own situation where other people will want to be like you. Now we are like dogs following after white people and want to be equal to them. Why? Why? It's simple. Self-identity, self-love, money handling, all these things that I mentioned, those are the reasons that are leading us to the last point, the equality that we are chasing. I don't want to be equal to anyone. I got my own lane that I'm walking. I don't need to be equal to anyone. The only thing that you need to fight is the systematic racism. That is different from equality. Systematic racism is when a person is being a white person is being passed and then a black person is being shot by the police. That's what you need to fight. That's not equality, that's racism. And it goes back to what I was saying, to self-love, because most of those people who are in charge here in Africa are Africans. Those are ones that they don't go and into the white people's places and turn everything upside down, but they come in a bit in our locations and turn everything in my house upside down. That's what we're lacking, self-identity, self-love. I don't want to be equal to a white person. I'm my own man. I don't want to see our sisters trying to look like white people. They don't attract me. I'm not getting any attraction from any black woman that is trying to be a white woman. No, it's disgusting for me. I get disgusted when I see a black woman trying so hard to be a white woman with wigs, with waves and wigs and all these things, bleaching themselves and makeup that will make them look like Celine Dion, while there's African goddesses here. That's disgusting. You disgust me if you are watching this and you are doing that. You need to stop it. Love yourself enough. You're worth it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Make sure you do subscribe. There are many of these episodes coming your way. Love, fikiria kwa undani, asante, ndugu, amako. Watch this video this side and watch this side.